public works crews are out doing their thing, salting and clearing our roads. Just a friendly reminder to your contractors to please ask them to not put the snow on sidewalks and or blocking the street, especially after the snow plows have come. So please be respectful. Also, if you're clearing your own snow, to please be sure not to block the sidewalk so that we can make sure that our city is as accessible to everybody as possible. So there you go.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Councillor Chamie, anything to report? Councillor Roux.
As always. So I hope many of you got the chance to go to the book sale this weekend. It was a beautiful one again, which raised $10,422 for the library. So that's always good news. There's a vernissage in the gallery tomorrow from 6 to 8 of Sarah Setcole and Desmond Senior's work. And then next Wednesday, the 30th at 5 o'clock at Prince Albert Square, it will be the Christmas tree lighting. There will be hot chocolate and cookies as usual. So hope to see many of you there. Et ensuite, jeudi, le 1er décembre à l'Hôtel de Ville, ça sera l'illumination, décoration de Noël. Nous avons de très beaux nouveaux arrangements cette année, alors ça devrait être bien excitant. Ça, c'est à 17h aussi, mais jeudi, le 1er décembre. Merci.
Thank you, Councillor Roux. Councillor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le maire suppléant. Des nouvelles de finances. Donc, le rôle d'évaluation foncière qui s'appliquera pour la période annuelle du rôle triennal d'évaluation foncière de 2023, 2024, 2025 a été déposé au bureau du greffe de Westmount le 15 novembre 2022. Toute personne intéressée peut consulter le rôle en ligne à l'adresse https://montréal.ca/sujet/rôle d'évaluation d'union foncière ou en personne au 4333 rue Sherbrooke-Ouest du lundi au vendredi entre 8h30 et 16h30. The property assessment role that will be enforced for the first year of the triennial property assessment role of 2023, 2024, 2025 was deposited at the Westmount City Clerk's office on November 15, 2022. Any interested person may consult the role online at https://montreal.ca/en/topic/property-assessment-role or in person at 4333 Rue Sherbrooke-Ouest, Monday to Friday between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor D'Amico. I am advised that the audio did not pass through when I read the press release for the cyber attack, and it's been recommended that I reread them in both languages. So I do apologize for those in the room who have to listen to me once again, but it is important that we have this on the video and make it available to the rest of the community. So I will reread this, starting in English again. Referring to the cyber attack on Westmount, the City of Westmount's municipal services have been the target of a cyber attack. The attack, which has affected several of the administration's servers, has caused a computer outage. We are fully aware that this is a serious concern for our residents. The Council and administration are taking the situation very seriously and will do everything possible to protect the public. The Information Technology Department is working with a leading external cybersecurity firm to determine the extent of the attack and how to reestablish our systems as quickly and efficiently as possible. The city's website is unaffected. The city would like to inform its citizens that all necessary measures will be implemented to ensure that our systems can be safely restored as soon as possible. We take data security very seriously, and our highest priority is the safeguarding of our residents and employee information. At this time, the city is unable to receive email messages. Citizens wishing to communicate with the city are encouraged to contact departments by phone or to visit a service location. To view the service directory, visit westmount.org/directory. And a word from our mayor, Christina Smith. Cyber attacks are unfortunately becoming more and more prevalent and sophisticated in our society, and despite all the measures we put in place, public administrations are not completely immune to this sad reality. I want to reassure all Westmounters that our teams are working seriously and diligently to remedy the situation, and we will keep residents informed. Updates will be published by the city as the information becomes available. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. Et encore en français. Les services municipaux de la ville de Westmount ont été la cible d'une cyberattaque. L'attaque, qui a touché plusieurs serveurs de l'administration a provoqué une panne informatique. Nous sommes pleinement conscients qu'il s'agit d'une situation très préoccupante pour nos résidents. Le conseil et l'administration prennent la situation très au sérieux et feront tout leur possible pour protéger la population. Le service des technologies de l'information travaille avec une firme externe spécialisée en cybersécurité pour déterminer l'ampleur de l'attaque et comment rétablir nos systèmes aussi rapidement et efficacement que possible. Le site web de la ville n'est pas affecté. La ville souhaite informer ses citoyens que toutes les mesures nécessaires seront mises en œuvre afin de garantir que nos systèmes puissent être rétablis en toute sécurité dès que possible. Nous prenons la sécurité des données très au sérieux et notre priorité absolue est la protection des informations de nos résidents et de nos employés. En raison de cette attaque informatique, la ville ne peut recevoir de messages par courriel. Les citoyens qui souhaitent communiquer avec la ville sont donc invités à contacter par téléphone les différents services ou à se rendre physiquement à un point de service. Pour consulter le répertoire des services, visitez westmount.org/répertoire. Puis un mot de notre mairesse, Christina Smith. Les cyberattaques sont malheureusement de plus en plus répandues et de plus en plus sophistiquées dans notre société. Et, malgré toutes les mesures que nous tentons de mettre en place, les administrations publiques n'échappent pas à cette triste réalité. Je veux dire à tous les Westmountais que nos équipes travaillent avec sérieux et diligence afin de remédier à cette situation et nous vous tiendrons au courant. D'autres informations sur cette situation seront communiquées par la Ville dès qu'elles seront disponibles. Merci de votre compréhension et de votre collaboration. I hope that made it through this time. So I won't be reading it a third. And we will move on to the adoption of the agenda. Oh, sorry, you're well right. Thank you for reminding me. This is the opportunity now for question period. If there are residents or visitors in the room who would like to pose a question to us, now is the time. Please advance to the stand and give us your name and address and pose your question.
My name is Malcolm McCrae, and my address is 4350 Sherbrooke Street West. And my question is, what might the city of Westmount be doing as another green initiative? As the bulk of the greenhouse gas emissions that municipal governments can control come from driving cars, the Westmount City Council should concentrate its efforts on projects that encourage people to switch from cars to public transit or even better, active transport. In recent years, the City of Montreal, as part of the response to climate change, has undergone an expansion of their bike path system. The most ambitious part has been the REV network, the Réseau Express Fellow. Presently, this network consists of a few pre-engineered arterial streets, such as Rue Saint-Denis. These streets have been upgraded by reducing the number of car lanes and using the space to add additional bike paths. The REV unidirectional bike paths are a significant improvement over Montreal's traditional bidirectional paths. Overall, the response of the world's governments to the challenge posed by climate change has been inadequate. The cover of last week's Economist was "Say Goodbye to 1.5 degrees C." That same week, the City of Montreal announced that its five-year plan for the next round of the REV network expansion. The most notable street earmarked will be John Talon. Given the urgency of the climate situation and the success of this Saint-Denis conversion, I find Montreal's proposed rate of REV expansion very timid. The potential for small electric vehicles such as e-bikes, scooters, and freight bikes to replace automobiles has never been greater, and the need for such space for vehicles such as this to operate has never been clearer. The City of Westmount will not be included in the REV network for the next 5 years. Unless Westmount and NDG become more active advocates in promoting the REV network into our region, we will continue to be last in line to have our arterial roads upgraded into complete streets. Sherbrooke Street is an obvious candidate for the inclusion in the REV network. Between DeCarry and Atwater, it is very similar to a very similar street to Rue Saint-Denis before its conversion. So my question is, will the city of Westmount advocate at the agglomeration council that the REV expansion be done at a faster pace than what has been recently proposed, and that Sherbrooke Street be included in any future expansion of the REV network?
Thank you, Mr. McRae. So if I understand your question correctly, I think you do identify that the Sherbrooke Street is not currently on the 5-year plan for Ville de Montréal. And as such, we don't have a plan for including cycling lanes on Sherbrooke.
Well, my question is, would the council advocate at the MUC level for its inclusion?
I cannot speak for I cannot speak for the mayor, obviously. This is a discussion. I think previously in the past, we've always said that it would be probably not optimal for us to consider anything without having a bike path on at least one of the sides of Sherbrooke, so that you're coming in or at least leaving Westmount on Sherbrooke. And it would be, to do so in isolation would not be optimal. If you're asking us now that if we should be motivating Ville de Montréal to consider Sherbrooke Street on a longer stretch, then yes, that's something we can consider, but I can't make that commitment to you now.
Okay, should I leave this as a?
Would you like to hear the opinion of a Westmount citizen? There is no climate change.
Okay.
Yeah, absolute garbage.
Ma'am, would you have a question for the microphone?
Yes, please.
Your name and address, please.
My name is Jutta de Mers. I live on 359 Grosvenor. I'm the owner of a duplex 357 359 Grosvenor. The house next to us, 363, has been sold, and the owner is renovating, I think possibly since the beginning of the year. And I was not there every day in the summer, but in the summer, a lot of damage occurred to my property, to my front, to my pavillini, and to the backyard. The backyard consists of a portion inside the court, which is planted with ferns. It's quite a large area. The front portion, which is directed towards Drossenen, is grass. So the owner had a French drain installed, and without any notification or asking or mentioning, he dumped the mud, the brown earth. He dumped it onto my property. He dumped it, number one, and number two, without a tarp underneath. And then he went, so before that, he removed the hedge. There was a common hedge. Then he spread that brown mud from his excavation. He spread it all over the portion which belongs to me, removing every single fern, removing all the vegetation. He had already removed the hedge. And it was absolutely shocking. He also dumped his mud onto my lawn, and there isn't that much sun, so that lawn needs all the care it can get to have fairly decent grass. So that is a backyard. When he removed the hedge, he, of course, as I mentioned before, he asked not for permission or any mentioning. I saved the hedge because it was put in garbage on his property. So I saved it because I wanted to have it replanted. In the front, I had a very beautiful, I will come to it in 2 minutes. In the front, I have a very good pavillon job done by a top paysagist in Westmont. And he mentioned to me, so there is a small hedge framed. And he mentioned to me, oh, by the way, I will remove the edge which faces to my property. So I said, you cannot touch that. That is my property. That is part of my framing of that little flower bed. And so you cannot remove it. So I one other day, and he had removed it. In the meantime, and then he also removed the pavillon towards the house, because that flower bed then continues towards the house. So that was all totally unacceptable, and I contact the inspector, Mr. McHann, and he, to make it short, we had a meeting, the three of us, the owner, Mr. McMahon, and myself. And he got a commitment from the owner, by the way. His name is Jonathan El Harar. And without a trace of any civil graces, very hard to communicate. So I said to him, you have to replace the pavillon you removed at the border. And he hasn't done it. So in the end, we had a meeting, as I said before, and I agreed, well, it was sarcasm and a joke. You need to do that before the snow falls. In the meantime, we have snow, and nothing has been done, neither in the front, neither in the back. And I got in touch with Mr. McMahon, and I said,
ma'am, is there a question, please?
This is totally unacceptable. And if I have to repair this myself, I figured that it would cost me between $3,000 and $4,000. That might be even moderate. So my question is, so Mr. McMahon, McMahon, well, I call him McMahon, McMahon, he says to me, this is a civil problem between you and the neighbor. And I said to him, no, I don't agree with that. This is a complete renovation. He had a permit for that. And this extends a little dispute between two neighbors. It is your obligation to assure that I don't get any damage. And the thing is, where is the justice that I now have to look after the damage which was caused to me, because the city doesn't look after that? There is a loophole in the city's rules, and I have a solution for that. There should be a fund deposited when you ask for a permit, depending on the extent of the renovation. It's, I don't know what, $500, $1,000, 2,000, 5,000. And when there is a damage done to the person who was associated with that renovation by living next to it, the city goes and says, here is the fund and here is the money for repairing it. Because this man, he will not over his alive or dead body go and do the repairs. We have winter. As soon as the last nail is in the door, he is going to flip it and then he's out of there. And the new owners, of course, they will not do any repair. Now, do you expect me to settle with that? No, this is unacceptable. And you know, I don't really care about the rules of your city, but this is damage caused to me. It is in excess of 1,000, of 2,000, it's possibly $3,000 to $4,000. You expect me to pay for that out of my own pocket, and you expect me as a senior citizen to go through this trouble, through this investment of my time, of my energy, of my emotions, having sleepless nights, absolutely unacceptable. So I expect some positive answers from the city. And as Mr. McMahon or Mr. McMahon says to me, my supervisor doesn't support any advancement I can give you. I have to go by the rules. Your rules don't work. They are not sufficient.
Ma'am,
So I like to have a positive answer to that. I know you won't be able to do this tonight, but I'm not going to settle with I have mud on my half of my backyard,
ma'am,
including, I'm sorry,
I'm sorry, but I must interrupt. I must interrupt because I think we do understand the scope of the distress that this is causing you, and I am truly sympathetic to that. I truly am. Renovations, especially when they go over the edge and they impact their neighbors, it often causes a lot of problems. Unfortunately, as the inspector has communicated to you previously, we do try to assist residents when there's a dispute, but there is a limit as to how much we can intervene. Once the conditions and the constraints of a permit have been satisfied, that is the extent of our ability to intervene.
Unacceptable.
I understand, and I do sympathize, but the recourse that is left to you is the civil recourse, and that is.
Why would I be? Why should I be bothered to go to court?
I understand.
Why me?
I understand. I do.
No, you do not understand.
Ma'am, I do.
This is a loophole in the city's rules.
It's not. It's actually.
And you have to change that.
It is not.
I'm 100% sure that I'm not the only person.
You are not.
I'm sure this happens all the time for all these years.
It happens all the time. Everywhere,
and
across,
you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, but this is not part of
it
us."
happens across the province, and it's not a loophole that is restricted to Westmount.
It is a loophole.
It's not a loophole that's restricted to Westmount. It is a condition.
You have to change the rules.
It's not us. This is at the provincial level. Correct me, please.
Why should I be going? Why should I be going?
I'm sorry. I sympathize. I truly do, and I understand. But this is not within our scope of jurisdiction. It simply isn't. Yes, and I will refer you to our city clerk, the lawyer in the room, who will be able to add some color, far more color than I'm able to.
Yes, as Mr. President said, the city doesn't have the jurisdiction to adapt such rules.
You know what? That I don't care about your jurisdiction. This is an injustice to me as a citizen. I'm living here for over 40 years. And why should I be putting up with that?
Because it's the law. It is the law.
Yeah, then you have to change the law.
No, I cannot change the law.
You can do anything you want. Well, it was very, very satisfactory of your response and very, very satisfactory of your support. It's unacceptable.
Are there, Maitre Ferland, do we have any online questions? If they were able to come in before the.
Yes, we have one question from Mr. Denis Biro. The city is planning to create a new entrance to the library. Directly above the proposed entrance, water has been infiltrating the brick facade for over a decade and pushing out the mortar. In fact, the parapet of the building on its south and east sides has been covered by tarp for several years to limit continuing deterioration. Will the city repair the damage to the library facade at the same time it builds the new entrance? Thank you.
Monsieur Biro, thank you for your question. I do not have the answer at this point in time. I will ask the administration to follow up and to give you the answer to the fullest extent that they're able to. Thank you. We will move on through the agenda and onto the adoption of the agenda. And Councillor Bostock.
I move that the agenda of the regular council sitting of November 21, 2022 be adopted with the addition of the following items under new business. Transaction, ratification of an expropriation indemnity agreement, appointment, Public Works Division Head Environment, appointment, Public Works Division Head Mechanics and Buildings, appointment, Public Works Superintendent Roads and Parks.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Do I have a seconder for the motion? Councillor Shammy? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 5, approbation des procès verbal. Conseiller Bostock encore.
Je propose que le procès verbal de la séance ordinaire du conseil tenue le 7 novembre 2022 soit approuvé.
Do I have a seconder for the motion?
Gallery.
Councillor Gallery, all in favor? Motion carried. Item 6, reports to council. 6.1, minutes of the General Committee of Council. Who is this? Is it me? 6.1, Councillor Bostock. It's not written here.
I know. The minutes of the Council General Committee meetings of Council held on September 19 and October 11, 2022 are tabled and are available on the city's website.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Item 6.2, comparative financial statements. Councillor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le maire suppléant. Conformément à l'article 105.4 de la loi sur les cités et villes, le trésorier adjoint dépose les rapports suivants. 1. L'état comparatif au 20 octobre 2022 des revenus et dépenses de l'exercice financier 2022 et de ceux de l'exercice financier 2021 pour la période correspondante dont copie est jointe aux présentes. 2. L'état comparatif des revenus et dépenses dont la réalisation est prévue pour l'exercice financier 2022 et de ceux prévus au budget adopté pour cet exercice dont copie est jointe aux présentes.
Thank you, Councillor D'Amico. Item number 7, appointments 2023 acting mayors. Councillor D'Amico again, please.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. Whereas in accordance with the first paragraph of Section 56 of the Cities and Towns Act, the council shall appoint a councillor as acting mayor for the period it determines. I move that Councillor Anitra Bostock be appointed acting mayor for the months of February, March, and April 2023, that Councillor Mary Gallery be appointed acting mayor for the months of May, June, and July 2023, that Councillor Matthew E. Aronson be appointed acting mayor for the months of August, September, and October 2023, and that Councillor Kathleen Kez be appointed acting mayor for the months of November and December 2023, as well as January 2024.
Thank you, Councilor Domingo. Do you have a seconder? Councilor Gallery? All in favor? Motion carried. Item number 8. Nomination comité de retraite pour les fonctionnaires et les employés de la ville de Westmount. Councilor Shammy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That in accordance with acting mayor, I move that in accordance with bylaw 1530 entitled Règlement concernant le régime de retraite pour les fonctionnaires et les employés de la ville de Westmount, Mr. Claude Ladouceur, Assistant Director, Budget and Finance of the Finance Department, be appointed as a member representing the employer on the Pension Plan Committee for the officers and for the employees of the City of Westmount for a 3-year term.
Thank you, Councilor Shammy. Do we have a seconder? Councilor D'Amico. Councilor Shammy, do you have any points you want to add to that?
No, just a 3-year term.
Okay. All in favor? Motion carried. Item number 9, terms and conditions for the payment of the government contribution under the gas tax and Quebec contribution program, otherwise known as TEQ Tech, for the years 2019 to 2023. Councilor D'Amico.
Merci, Monsieur le maire suppléant. Entendu que la Ville a pris connaissance du guide relatif aux modalités de versement de la contribution gouvernementale dans le cadre du programme de la taxe sur l'essence et la contribution du Québec, la TEC, pour les années 2019 à 2023 et de ses annexes, attendu que la Ville doit respecter les modalités de ce guide qui s'appliquent à elle pour recevoir la contribution gouvernementale qui lui a été confirmée dans une lettre de la ministre des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation à cet effet. I move that the City of Westmount commit to complying with the terms and conditions of the guide relatif aux modalités de versement de la contribution gouvernementale dans le cadre du programme de la taxe sur l'essence et de la contribution du Québec, la TEC, pour les années 2019 à 2023 that apply in its case, that the City of Westmount commit to being the sole body in charge and to release the governments of Canada and Quebec, as well as their ministers, senior officials, employees, and agents of any responsibility relating to claims, requirements, losses, damages, and costs of any kind based on an injury inflicted to a person, the death of this person, any damages done to the property, or the loss of property attributable to a deliberate or careless act ensuing directly or indirectly from the investments made through the financial assistance obtained under the 2019 to 2023 TEC program, that the City of Westmount approve the content and authorize the transmission of the attached schedule of works number 3 to the Ministère des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation and all other documents required by the Ministère in order to receive the government contribution, which was confirmed in a letter of la Ministre des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation to that effect. That the City of Westmount commit to achieving the minimum capital work in municipal infrastructure fixed at $75 per capita per year, thus a total of $375 per capita for all 5 years of the program. That the City of Westmount commit to informing the Ministère des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation of any modification made to the schedule of works approved under the present resolution. That the City of Westmount hereby certify that, as per this resolution, the attached schedule of works number 3 includes the true expenditures incurred.
Thank you, Councilor D'Amico. Do I have a seconder? Councilor Bostock? Councilor D'Amico, do you have any comments to add, or?
Oh, a very important part of the PTI is obviously the amount that we get as a subsidy from the TEC. So it's a very important contribution.
Thank you, Councilor D'Amico. All in favor? Carried. Item 11.
10.
Sorry, 10. Agreement for the rental of trucks for snow removal operations, winter of 2022 to 2023. Councilor Bostock.
I move that an agreement to be entered into with Transvac Montreal Laval Inc. for the supply of 14 trucks for snow removal operations during the 2022-23 winter season for a minimum guarantee of $9,500 before taxes per truck based on the hourly rates fixed by the Ministère de Transport du Québec, to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $76,415.71, including tax credits for the 2022 fiscal year for the supply of 14 trucks for snow removal operations during the 2022-2023 winter season. Oh, second page. To award to Transvac Montreal Inc. The contract for the supply of 14 trucks for snow removal operations during the 2022-2023 winter season for the period from December 21st, 2022 to April 1st, 2023 for a minimum amount of $133,000 plus taxes and a maximum amount of $545,891.50 plus taxes, to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2022-1725, that the Director General or the Substitute Director General in his absence be authorized to sign the agreement and any other document required to give full effect to this resolution.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Do I have a seconder for this? Councillor D'Amico? Councillor Bostock, any color to add?
We found trucks. It's good. We were short, so we've actually got some people to do the snow removal now, so that's good.
Good start indeed. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, motion carried. On to the next item. Item 11, request for proposal, supply of a towing service for the removal of snow from streets for the 2022 to 2023 winter season, INV-2022-026. Councillor Bostock, again, please.
I move to authorize an expenditure in the amount of $36,115.70, including tax credits for the 2022 fiscal year for the supply of a towing service for the removal of snow from streets for the winter season from November 1st, 2022 to April 15th, 2023. Request for proposals number INV 2022-026. To award to 7795211 Canada Inc., Dave's Towing, the contract for this purpose in accordance with its proposal for a minimum amount of $88,990.65, including taxes, and a maximum amount of $118,954.20, including taxes, the whole in conformity with the contractual documents of the request for proposals INV 2022-026. And to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the financial information included in the decision-making file number 2022-1715.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Shammy? All in favor?
Aye.
The motion is carried. Item 12. Renouvellement du contrat service professionnel, fourniture et implantation du système de commettre paiement par plaque d'immatriculation. Conseil 15.
Merci. Whereas following the call for public tenders number PUR-215-016, the Municipal Council awarded the contract for the supply and implementation of a multiple payment system for parking meters for the City of Westmount to J.J. Mackay Canada Limited, resolution number 2015-11-265 for a period of 5 years. Whereas the Director of Legal Services recommends renewing the contract, I move to authorize the renewal of the contract awarded as part of the call for public tenders PUR-2015-016, resolution number 2015-11-265 to J.J. Mackay Canada Limited for the supply and implementation of multiple payment systems for parking meters for the City of Westmount.
Thank you, Councillor Kez. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Bostock? Councillor Kez, any comments you would like to add?
No, it's self-explanatory. It's for the implementation to accept multiple payment systems for
Excellent.
parking meters.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay, motion carried. Item 13, renewal of a contract, collection and transport of household waste and organic materials. PW 2019-1028, presumably Councillor Aronson.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Mayor. Whereas following a call for public tenders number PW 2019-1082, the Municipal Council awarded the contract for the collection and transportation of household waste and organic matter to de Richburg Canada Environment Incorporated, and that was in Resolution 2019-03-47. And whereas this contract includes the option to renew it twice at the discretion of the city for a period of 12 months. And whereas at its sitting of February the 7th, 2022, Council authorized a renewal of the contract awarded as part of the call for public tenders PW 2019-1028 to de Richburg Canada Environment Incorporated for the collection and transportation of household waste and organic matter. And this was at Resolution 2022-02-27. And it covered the period of May the 1st, 2022 to April the 30th, 2023. And whereas the Director of Public Works recommends renewing the contract for the period of May the 1st, 2022 to April the 30th, 2023, I therefore move to authorize the renewal of the contract awarded as part of the call for public tenders PW 2019-1028 to de Richburg Canada Environment Incorporated for the collection and transportation of household waste and organic matter. And to remind you again, that was originally resolution number 2019-03-47. But now to extend it for the period of May the 1st from 2023 to April the 30th, 2024, for a maximum amount of $1,168,539, including taxes. And I further move to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the decision-making information included in the decision-making file number 2019-07-11 and 2022-17-23.
Thank you, Councillor Aronson. Seconder for the vote, Councillor D'Amico. Any comments to add?
Simply put, I urge my fellow councillors to vote in favor of this extension, as this is how we get our organic waste and household materials picked up in the city, which is an important part and a key service offered by this council and administration to its residents. Please vote for this resolution.
This is absolutely a core business.
Core business, indeed.
All in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you, sir.
Item 14, contract renewal, rental and transportation of containers for various types of residual materials, PUB-2020-060. Oops, sorry. Is that Councillor Aronson again?
It is indeed.
It is indeed.
So
proceed.
Whereas following the call for public tenders number PUB 2020-060, the Municipal Council awarded the contract for the rental and transportation of containers for various types of residential materials to Evacuation Vidolo Limited, and that was at Resolution 2020-12-235. And whereas this contract includes the option to renew it twice at the discretion of the city for a period of 12 months. And whereas at the sitting of October the 4th, 2021, Council authorized the renewal of the contract awarded as part of the call for public tenders PUB 2020-060 to Evacuation Vidolo Limité for the rental and transportation of containers of various types of residential materials for the period of January the 1st, 2022 to December the 31st, 2022, and that was, to refresh your memory, resolution number 2021-10-238. And whereas the Director of Public Works recommends renewing the contract for the period of January the 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023, I therefore move to authorize the renewal of the contract awarded as part of the call for public tenders PUB 2020-060, which was passed through resolution 2020-12 235 to Evacuation Vidolo Limité for the rental and transportation of containers for various types of residual materials for the period of January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023 for a maximum of $65,047.11, including taxes. And further, I move to allocate this expenditure in accordance with the decision with the financial information studied. I'm sorry, for the financial information included in the decision-making files number 2020-1127 and 2020-1727. So we need to move.
Thank you, Councillor Anderson. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Gallery. Councillor Aronson, I suspect you have more to add.
I just wanted, that was like a lot to say that we have to rent these containers to move residual materials around, and these fine folks are renting them to us at a reasonable price. I'd urge the councils to please allow us to extend this contract one more year.
Thank you, Councillor Aronson. All in favor?
So yes.
Motion carried. Item 15. Bylaw 1489, adoption of a first draft of a resolution at 1 to 3 Hillside. Councillor Gallery.
Thank you very much. Please bear with me. This is a rather lengthy one. And I will start with the whereases. Whereas bylaw 1489 concerning specific construction, alteration, or occupancy proposals for an immovable, otherwise known as a SCOP, of the City of Westmount allows the municipal council, according to certain criteria and subject to conditions that it determines, to authorize a SCOP on the territory of the City of Westmount. Whereas an application has been filed pursuant bylaw 1489 for the building located at 1-3 Hillside Avenue on lot 4142847 of the Quebec Cadastre. Whereas in order to be approved, all SCOP applications must comply with the objectives of the City of Westmount's master plan. And whereas the Planning Advisory Committee has made a favorable recommendation regarding the project at its meeting held on October 18th, 2022. I move that the above preambule be made an integral part of this resolution, that the City of Westmount adopt pursuant to bylaw 1489 entitled Bylaw Concerning Specific Construction, Alteration, or Occupancy Proposals for an Immovable SCOPE of the City of Westmount, a first draft resolution to grant the application for authorization for a specific construction, alteration, or occupancy project for an immovable here bearing the civic address 1-3 Hillside Avenue on lot 4142847 of the Quebec Cadastre, hereinafter referred to as the immovable. That the first draft resolution thus adopted have the following effect on the immovable. A, grant a variance bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled Zoning Bylaw by allowing, notwithstanding the maximum height of 3 stories permitted for a building appearing in the physical and spatial specifications grid for the zone R6-34-14 of the zoning plan, a building with a maximum height of 6 stories, including the story of the above roof structure for mechanical equipment and for roof access. B, grant a variance to bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled Zoning Bylaw by allowing, notwithstanding the imposed dimension of 35 feet 0 inches for the maximum height of a building appearing in the physical and spatial specifications grid for zone R6-34-14 of the zoning plan, a building with a maximum height of 77 feet 0 inches. C, grant a variance to bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled Zoning Bylaw by allowing, notwithstanding the maximum floor area ratio of 2 allowed in the physical and spatial specifications grid for zone R6-34-14 of the zoning plan, a floor area ratio of 3.7. D, grant a variance to bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled Zoning Bylaw by allowing, notwithstanding the maximum site ratio of 65% permitted in the physical and spatial specifications grid for zone R6-34-14 of the zoning plan, a site ratio of 83%. E, grant a variance to subdivision 5.2.3 of bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled zoning bylaw by allowing the placement of the front wall facing Hillside Avenue at a maximum distance of 6 feet from the front lot line and the placement of the underground parking lot at a distance of up to 0 feet, 0 inches from said front lot line, whereas an open space of 10 feet, 0 inches is required between the building line on Hillside Avenue and the front lot line. F, grant a variance to subdivision 5.2.3 of bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled zoning bylaw by allowing the placement of front stairs facing Hillside Avenue up to 0 feet, 0 inches from the front lot line, whereas a minimum distance of 6 feet, 0 inches from the front lot line is required. G, grant a variance to subdivision 5.2.3 of bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled zoning bylaw by allowing the placement of the building at a minimum distance of 8 feet, 0 inches at the rear wall of the turret from the rear lot line and at a minimum distance of 11 feet, 0 inches at the main rear wall from said rear lot, whereas a minimum open space of 35 feet, 0 inches is required in the case of a rear wall of more than 45 feet, 0 inches. H, grant a variance to section 5.5.9.2 of bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled zoning bylaw by allowing a minimum percentage of vegetated area of 41% in the rear yard, while vegetated areas must occupy at least 60% of the rear yard area. I, grant a variance to section 5.5.9.2 of bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled zoning bylaw by allowing a minimum percentage of planted area of 63% in the front yard, whereas planted areas must occupy at least 70% of the front yard area. J, grant a variance to section 5.5.3.4 of bylaw number 1303 of the City of Westmount entitled zoning bylaw by allowing a driveway with a maximum width of 18 feet, 2 inches, while the maximum driveway width is 10 feet, 0 inches. The whole according to the plan submitted and the information contained in the decision-making file number 2022-1732, subject to the following conditions. 1, that an agreement between the applicant and the city regarding the relocation of the transformers be finalized prior to the issuance of the building permit, and that in the event of the that the transformers are relocated on the immovable, that a basement clearance be provided to allow for the installation. If necessary, the modified basement plans must be submitted before the building permit is issued. 2, that the electrical chamber in the basement be arranged to accommodate the relocation of Hydro Westmount transformers as stated in condition 1. And lastly, 3, the evidence of the applicant's commitment to make best efforts to achieve silver LEED certification be submitted prior to permit issuance.
Thank you, Councillor Gallery. That was a long one. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Shammy? Any comments to add?
This is part of the Scopie process, and this was the first reading, and following this will be the public notice and then the public consultation.
That's right. And the public notice will follow at a later date, and that date has not been published yet, but that will give everybody the opportunity to see the project again and to provide any comments. Thank you, Councillor Gallery. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. We now move on to new business. And as Councillor Bostock summarized in the beginning, there are 4 points, new points to add. And item 16.1, which I had over here, the transaction, the ratification of an expropriation indemnity agreement. Councillor Kez. Please hold. Yes, apologies. I thought we had a paper copy as well. Est-ce que je peux avancer sur 2 ou...
Oui, allez-y. Vous pouvez avancer. On va aller vous chercher le document en attendant.
Merci, Monsieur le greffier. À la place, on va avancer juste pour item 16.2, appointment, Public Works, Division Head, Environment. Councillor Bostock.
I move that Ms. Patricia Rossette be appointed to the position of Division Head, Environment of the Public Works Department, Grade 7, effective November 22nd, 2022, in accordance with the salary recommendation of the Human Resources Department and according to the terms provided for in the working conditions and remuneration of management personnel.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor D'Amico. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. It's great news for Madame Rossette.
She's an excellent member of the team, and we're really happy to be able to do this with her. It's great.
Indeed. We will revert back to item 16.1. Councillor Kez.
Alors, c'est bien le projet de résolution, c'est ça. OK. Attendu que procureur général du Québec, agissant pour le ministère des Transports du Québec, ci-après MTQ, a exproprié des immeubles apparents à la ville de Westmount. Attendu que la ville de Westmount a contesté de l'évaluation de la valeur de intermédiaire de l'MTQ au tribunal administratif du Québec. Section des affaires immobilières, SAI, trait union M, trait union 179472, trait union 1012. SAI, trait union M, trait union 181 888, trait union 1103. SAI, trait union M, trait union 264 184, trait union 1708 et SAI, trait union M, trait union 26418. De trait union 1708, ainsi qu'intenté au recours de la Cour supérieure, CSQ 500, trait union 17, trait union 098 460, trait union 176, 76, oui, ayant mené à une entente qu'un transfert de la propriété des parcelles expropriées. Attendu qu'en novembre 2021, une attente partielle est intervenue avec le MTQ quand l'intermédiaire immobilier de la ville de Westmount pour les lots 5064 111,477 659 6157 481 et 6157 479 concernant le lot de cours des travaux publics et Hydro Westmount, une partie de la Bethune et la partie de la rue Hallowell. Attendu que l'entente de novembre 2021 a été ratifiée le 15 novembre 2021 au moyen de la résolution numéro 2021 13 union 11 13 union 257. Attendu qu'en octobre 2022, une seconde entente partielle, ci-après attente, était intervenue avec l'MTQ quand à l'indemnité immobilière et une partie de l'indemnité accessoire laquelle englobe les lots visés par l'entente de novembre 2021, soit les lots 5064 111, 4779 659, 6157 481, 6157 479. Relativement à la Cour des travaux publics de Hydro Westmount, en plus des lots 5038 195, 5038 196 et 4145232 relativement à la rue Bethune, à la rue Hallowell, à la rue Selby et la rue Lenoir. Entendu que l'entente inclut à titre indemnité accessoire l'ensemble des éléments mentionnés aux réclamations détaillées datées de 13 février 2018 dans le dossier SAI Union M, Union 1794772, Union 1012 et du 22 décembre 2017 dans le dossier SAI Union M, Union 181 888, Union 1103 à l'exception de toute l'indemnité accessoire liée à l'entrée caractère et l'incinérateur. Entendu que l'entente exclut le remboursement des frais de l'expert et ne limiterait aucune façon de remboursement. Entendu que l'entente prévoit le paiement d'une somme de 2 250 625 $, dont 951 000 et 62 $ ont déjà été payés par l'NTQ à titre indemnité provisionnel. Attendu qu'un solde de 1 299 563 $ demeure à être payé par l'NTQ auquel devra s'ajouter l'intérêt aux taux légaux. Attendu que l'entente a été négociée par les avocats représentant à la ville de directrice de le service de génie et qu'elle a été acceptée par le MTQ. Attendu qu'il est préférable d'adopter une résolution globale qui englobe la résolution 2021 13 Union 11 13 Union 257. Il est proposé par moi, Kathleen Kez, appuyé par le conseiller Westmount, que la ville de Westmount ratifie l'entente négociée par ses avocats, que le directeur des services juridiques de la ville de Westmount soit autorisé à signer tous les documents qui pourraient être requis pour donner plein d'effet à l'entente intervenue, incluant toutes les transactions et tout acte notarié.
Thank you, Councillor Kaz. Merci, Councillor Kaz. Do I have a seconder for this motion? Councillor Aronson. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Sorry, did you want to add any commentary to that? Because
No, this is just we know what the MTQ did to some of Westmount's land, so now it's time for them to pay for what they did,
privilege.
right?
Thank you, Councillor Kaz. So back to the items on the additional items. Item 16.3, appointment Public Works Division Head, Mechanics and Buildings. Councillor Bostock.
I move that Mr. Martin Dicker be appointed to the position of Division Head Mechanics and Buildings of the Public Works Department, Grade 6, effective November 2022, in accordance with the salary recommendation of the Human Resources Department and according to the terms provided for in the working conditions and remuneration of management personnel.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Gallery. All in favor?
Aye.
Any comments?
Another amazing addition to the team, and great to have him on board.
It's always great to promote from within.
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Item 16.4, entitled Appointment, Public Works Superintendent, Roads and Parks. More good news. Councillor Bostock.
I move that Mr. Denis René be appointed to the position of Superintendent, Roads and Parks of the Public Works Department, Grade 8, effective November 23rd, 2022, in accordance with the salary recommendation of the Human Resources Department and according to the terms provided for in the working conditions and remuneration of management personnel.
Thank you, Councillor Bostock. Do I have a seconder? Well, there it is. Councillor D'Amico. Peter. All in favor? Motion carried. Any closing comments on the final appointment?
We're lucky. We've got a great team at Public Works, and we're keep adding to it. So it's good.
Excellent. So that concludes our regular business. We move on to item 17, a second question period. I do not see anybody in the room, but do we have any questions online?
No questions online.
Okay. And with that, I will close this. I will declare the sitting closed. Thank you, everyone.